rules in 1988 did not permit a person with the bachelor's in computers and computer science. So he came back here. Some professor says, well, looks like a complex case, but there is one, this Jhunjhunwala in electrical engineering, who joined. Say, what will happen? So we'll figure it out. He joined. And eventually, we got him admission in MS in electrical engineering, and he did his MS. And after that, there is a long story. Both of them, I'm not going to tell about the story, because today it is about something else. Today, basically for quite some time, even when I got these people as youngsters, he joined me as right after his undergraduate. He also joined me right after undergraduate. I don't even remember which college he came from. He came from some college. And what we found, and he didn't even come with computer science background. But once we give them access to a lab, little bit of motivation, and their self-motivation, we saw that their learning went on like this. It grows exponentially. It was from those early times, and I'm talking about 80s. They were there in 88, 90. We recognized the power of youth. And over time, we are recognizing that again and again and again and more. Even when we set up this IIT Madras Research Park, we said we are trying to bring three sets of people together. The knowledge, the industry person who knows how to convert a prototype into a commercial product, and a youngster, a 22-year-old youngster who does not know that it cannot be done, and therefore is ready to take up any challenge that we put forward. And that is what is going to result into IITM Research Park. So even 12, 13, 14 years back when we started IITM Research Park, we were on this path. But we're moving very slowly, cautiously. Over the last few years, I started seeing youngsters coming from colleges that I did not even hear of. When we first met these youngsters and interviewed them, we realized that they have not studied very much. They have not been taught very much. But there is something that is saying that they want to do something. And then we create the right environment, right guidance, a lot of freedom, pushing them hard, and then they flower. This is something that we have been seeing again and again and again. And we realize the huge potential of youth, 22-year-old youth, and we wanted to go one step further and try to see how we can really use that to build technologies in India. Otherwise, all this Make in India and other things are not going to go very far unless we build serious technology all the way from R&D to commercialization. So this summer, in the beginning of the summer or before the summer, sometime in March or April, I asked my leadership here in Research Park, Tamaswati Ghosh, Jaya, Reema, say, let us do something different this time. First, let us take 50 students from colleges in South India. In fact, we took students from Karunya Institute of Technology, from Avinasilingam College of Home Science and Engineering. We took Tyagaraja College of Engineering, KSR College of Engineering, the Sri Vishnu College in Andhra Pradesh, and College of Engineering, Trivandrum, and we also took a few students from IIT Madras. We had 50 youngsters, all pretty much going to third year, age 19th. What we said, they can come from any department. Electrical engineering, computer science, biotechnology or biomedical engineering, from mechanical engineering, And they need not be even toppers. They should be slightly better than average, and those who are interested in building something, we let the college decide and send them here. We will give them internship, basically enough to cover their cost, stay, hostel and food cost out here, and we will put them into something very interesting. We took these 50 youngsters, 19-year-old, equal number of men and women, and split them into two parts. With a group of 25, we added 25 of our own people. This time, age between 22 to 24. Those who graduated a couple of years back and have been working either with here in IITM Research Park with our centers, or with Narayana Swamy organization called Maxelerator Foundation in Madurai, with whom we had partnered. In fact, he had youngsters from colleges whose name I had not even heard of. Even out of these 7, 8 colleges that we talked about, 5, except for 2 colleges, other colleges I had not heard of. But at least once in a while you could still hear about Avinasilingam College. But the colleges his youngsters came from, nobody has heard from. And their background of the people who joined that college were pretty much all lower middle class. People who were children of loaders, people who were children of farmers. So he had also some people. So we put together 50 people team which are slightly older, 22 to 24. And we again put 25 of them in one and 25 of them in another. We took up 2 projects. Basically, 5-6 months back when we conceived of this project, we said these are impossible projects. These are not something that is possible. But somewhere we wanted to show that impossible is possible. And you see, when we put these 50 youngsters with some guidance by some senior people, in 2.5 months, 75 days, can we make a mark? Can we start making them believe that impossible is possible? Can they all flower up? Can we ourselves reach a certain stage to show that's something immensely possible? The 2 things that we chose. First, we said we will try to design a wheelchair. Well, we already had a company called Neo Motion which designed wheelchair. We said, okay, we'll adapt that. We make them the partner. But this wheelchair will be an automated wheelchair, in the sense that this wheelchair will move on its own. There will be nobody to, even the passenger does not have to push the wheelchair. It will move on its own. It will be a computer control, it will move on its own. The wheelchair will move on its own, take you all around the research park, and will act as a virtual guide for you. So to be a virtual guide, it has to talk to you. And we say, well, English you can always talk, but you should be able to talk in Tamil, you should be able to talk in Hindi, maybe in Marathi, maybe in Kannada, maybe in Telugu, Malayalam, multiple languages, Indian languages. So we will say this wheelchair will talk to the passenger in Indian languages. Can talk freely. Passenger can ask any question, the wheelchair will attempt to answer. The wheelchair will then move automatically. If there is an obstacle, it will bypass that obstacle. It will ask, where all do you want to go in research park? It will figure out the interest of the person and take you at those locations. And explain to you about the research park and also what is going on. Answering question all the time. You can even ask whether you want a cup of tea and order a cup of tea for you. If needed, it will take you. If people can be older people, people can be people with certain amount of disabilities because they can use the wheelchair and be moved around. It will also ask you for feedback at the end of it and record your video recording. And we said this wheelchair You design. All in Indian languages. We broke it into parts. You can see all the parts. There was one part which was the voice and video interface in Indian languages, in multiple Indian languages, which could also translate from one language to another. Second part, motion of a wheelchair, automatic, computer controlled motion. And then remote computer, server controlled, communications. Then a localization, where exactly the wheelchair is, what direction the wheelchair is. We said we'll put a LiDAR, we'll put a video, picture, images will be taken, telling you, well, it appears that you are here, and which angle are you in. It will also have IMU, which inertial navigational unit, which tells you which direction you are in. It will also have counting the rotation. It has a wheel encoder, how much each wheel is rotating. 2 wheels rotating will tell you how much have you turned around. All this will integrate, and it will converse freely while taking you around. And if through these 19-year-old and 23-year-old kids into this with a little bit of guidance, and the results will be here to see. You should go and see what they have been able to do. They have been able to crack each problem. Some they have gone all the way, some they have gone 70, 80, 90%, which you will complete. Remember, 75 days for doing this. This was the problem number 1. Automatic wheelchair vehicle. And the key role was played by the 22, 23-year-old, including from Research Park and from Maxelerator. At the same time, we took up a second project. Second project was even, the first one was more for showing that this is possible, taking you around. Second one was trying to solve a major problem for our society. Take a city of Chennai, or you can talk about city of Bangalore, city of Bombay, city of Delhi, several other cities. How long does it take you to go from office to home? 1 hour? 1 hour, 15 minutes? And every day it is increasing because congestion is increasing as more and more people migrate from rural areas to urban areas, and it will only get further congested. You will spend an hour and a half going and an hour and a half coming back, 2.5 to 3 hours on travel. Is this what we call becoming better, developed? And what will happen 25 years from now, 50 years from now? We can talk big, but are we really going to solve the problem? And we said we will solve this problem. We conceptualized a system called HASHTIC, high-throughput sustainable. Sustainable was very important because we are designing something in 2023. We cannot have fossil fuel based transport. It has to take minimum energy, the most energy efficient system. It has to be automated. It should take you from office to home, from anywhere to anywhere in 20 minutes. And we say we will crack this, we'll work out every detail, we'll work out simulation, we build a prototype and solve every aspect, including what the cost will be. And we did that over the summer. And I think we are on the verge of creating a very, very interesting system which can carry the passenger load for the next 50, 75, 100 years. Very different from the kind of transport system that is built. But in existing city, on existing infrastructure, to add something which can make a difference. So that is a conceptualization of HASHTIC. It's too early to talk much more. Of course, details will be there, but I think we need to work now. But this has given us a confidence that we can get there. What is more, it has given us confidence and reinforcement of the belief that youth in India, the youngsters in India are very different. The 22-year-olds and the 23-year-old and the 90-year-old. And all that they need is a little bit of push, and they can go places. This is what we have done with, of course, Narayana Swamy participating fully with us, came here from Madurai with his team. His blessings and support driving us to do more and more. Where do we go from here? Let me end by saying something. This has given us a huge confidence that we can develop whatever technology required for India, in India, if we can involve youngsters and put the right team together. Next year, we hope to do, instead of 50 plus 50, 100 people, we hope to do it with 500 people. Even bigger projects next summer. And over the next 20 years, hopefully from support from many industries, we would like to India to take up 100 technologies in which we will be the leaders. This is something that Sridhar Vembu, I think the chairman of our managing director of Zoho, mentioned to me when I spent some time with him in his village in Tenkasi. And we discussed, why not take up 100 technologies and next 20 years we see that we become leaders. This whole thing is going to set the stage for something like this. This is what India needs. Otherwise, all this made in India will be, make in India, made in India will be all somewhat empty. And my feeling is we are ready. I've worked here 42 years in Chennai. And I've seen how things have moved on. We are at the right time. We can take it forward. The scientists and technologists working with the industry can take this forward. And that's what we're working with the youth, empowering the youth, enabling the youth. And youth from fairly ordinary colleges, very, very lower middle class background. Not going to elite institutions. No, we'll combine all of them. Some people will come from elite institute, but a lot of them will come in the same ratio as they exist. And I think we will get there. That's what we wanted to do this.
Professor Jhunjhunwala, capping the percentage.
I think we will encourage whenever possible. My whole incubator, the top leadership is all women. Tama, Jaya, and the whole leadership. But it will take time. We are not worried about it. When we are seeing in engineering and in projects like this, 50% are participating, leaders will emerge. If we don't start at this level, where will the leadership emerge? Leadership takes a little more time. Leadership will emerge. I'm not worried about that.
So what do you intend to do with these projects after this internship?
See, AWCV was to show that many technologies can be integrated together. From this morning, I made a presentation in this, that I think at least 10 startups can be born, new products can come from the work that we did for AWCV. And we hope over the next 1 year to get many of those startups. HASHTIC, the high-speed throughput in the city network. We also have a equivalent that we are thinking for the nation, how to move goods throughout the nation. Will take a little more effort, a little more work. I think we have to seriously work on it over the next 1 year when we have proven every aspect of it. And then we will try to see how to take it all the way to commercialization. At that time, or even before, we'll require government interfaces. We'll do the right interfaces.
For AWCV, has any industry come forward to
AWCV has multiple technologies. Many of these technologies resulted to different products. AWCV was more tour guide for research part. In itself, it is not a product. But out of everything that we worked, we'll bring in 10 new startups. But go through it, you'll see. When you see how you can speak in one language and get answer in another language. If you haven't seen, go and see it. Then you will realize what is possible. We are leveraging Bhashini work which has been done in the country over the last 5 to 10 years.
that both these innovations are focused on the transportation side.
No. AWCV is not a transportation. AWCV is a tour guide, it's mobility for people with disability and things like that. And these are projects that were chosen where we could involve 50 youngsters. Objective was also to show that something like this is possible. It is not, in itself, HASHTIC, yes, I will say, will make a huge difference in future. But can we take more challenges for the country? Can we take up more? Next year you will see many more.
What more problem areas?
I will not. Next year you will see. Wait for that time. We'll, as I told you, we'll get 500 people next time.
Do you have any names for this project or scheme?
Impossible is possible. Empowering youth of India. Is that correct?
Yes.
Huh? The youth who have worked, can you stand up? The youngsters from different colleges. Huh? You see? Huh? All of you come behind.
We have an issue with biomedical products.
No, so don't tell me what we have not done. Next time when we do something,
Not done. I'm
Huh.
just asking. You have.
there will be other challenges we'll address in future. Be engineering. Because this is what we are. We are developing technology, products. But we'll soon have to add in people from arts, commerce, other background, because finally a product becomes successful, commercialized with everyone participating. But still, it will be engineering dominated.
How is this shortlisting process happening?
Excuse me, I can't hear you.
With engineering dominated, arts and mathematics.
Yeah, technology will be always engineering dominated. We are talking about technology. Yes, you are.
How is this shortlisting process happening?
How was that?
How do you shortlist people?
We did not shortlist people. These are our partner institutions with whom we have tied up. IIT Madras Incubation Cell has tied up as a partner incubator whom we are going to nurture. We just wrote to them, send 6 students, send 7 students, and they sent. And they sent from different departments. We did not short. The most interesting thing is we did not select them, we did not shortlist them, and yet they all performed. What we are saying is that everyone can perform. This is our strength. Ordinary to extraordinary. Our slogan is ordinary to extraordinary. What may appear as a very fairly ordinary student in the right environment can flourish as extraordinary. And that's what we have been trying to do. Do you want to talk to some of them? Huh? 3 or 4 of you come. Let them talk to. Let them ask you questions.
What was your
Experience to gain here and be a good employee.
Not alone the technical aspect. Also, we have learned team bonding, how to collaborate in a team, how to work in a team, and how to cooperate with the tech leads. We have learned that also. And in academics, we are still strong, but not practically. But after coming here, we have excelled in that too.
Yes.
Like ma'am, when we study in the college or theory courses, but when we come here, we start building the projects and we learn by building. So not by theory, we are just learning and building the things so that to make us a product. In my college, if there is any problem for us, if like we are doing work and we are getting a problem, we are just giving up like that. Here, if it should be done, we are just trying. Like we have many problems occurred while doing this project. So I have learned that earlier.
Maybe I can answer.
Yeah. Both of them can.
yeah.
So I started my career with Professor Jhunjhunwala's Teen Group 33 years back. So, I was a troublemaker in. So, but when I joined TNET lab, the amount of trust professor places on the student, the amount of freedom you get, and see, basically the freedom to even break things to make them work, freedom to fail. And so those things really were very motivating and encouraging. So I used to work 17, 18 hours in the lab. So within 2 weeks of joining, professor gave me a key to the lab. So I can come in when I want, I can go back. That is the kind of trust, right? The lab had equipment, and probably many of the people who work odd hours, all of us had a key. So I think he used to duplicate as many keys as people inside the aid. So, so that helped us learn a lot of things by faking. So the moment people see me working late hours and see me worried, the senior students will come and help you. They will teach you concepts, they will sit with you to troubleshoot and make things work. So the more time I spend, the more help I get, and the faster I succeed in my work. So to me, it inculcated not only, it made me believe in myself and attempt, bigger and bigger things. It also made me understand that if I really want to do something, people will always come and help me. And I also learned that whenever I see people struggling, I have to help them. So there are many very important lessons I learned when I joined him. I can say I barely passed my engineering and came to Professor TNET lab. But when I got out of the TNET lab, I was extremely confident that I can do anything. So that's the difference.
And today they are built to go frugal and so what else can one ask? You want to say something?
Sure. So I think this experiment which Dr. Jhunjhunwala started is an excellent example of how you can basically democratize recipes. Recipes, technology recipes. For example, the two projects that we've done, one is the autonomous wheelchair and the other one is the HASHTIC. There are about, I think, maybe about 25 technology recipes that you need, which means you need to know how to use the LiDAR, you need to know how to use the IMU, you need to know how to do autonomous routing. I would say there are about 25 recipes which you can actually democratize. And these recipes, you can actually make people do it. And so this particular workshop was to see if we can get a home science student to do this. And I think it's been successful in the sense that we've had people from different backgrounds. So some of them are engineering, but there are a few home science, there are a few civil engineering students who can actually do these things. So I think that way, this is building these two products, which will traditionally take about a year. If you're doing it in some company, we've been able to compress it to about less than 60 days.
Before you say something, I have these two. Remember the come. I was so far talking about the 19-year-old. Now these are 23-year-olds. They have worked with me for 1 or 2 years, so they are a little more experienced. And they being mentors to this, they got the work done. So maybe, some of you want to say something, please? Say.
Hello everyone, myself Swamy. So right now you are doing the HASHTIC project. So in the HASHTIC project starting point, we have just few ideas, but we also don't know what we need to do. So after that, we realized, and our tech heads also guided to me, Nanu sir, Sandhya ma'am, Nanda ma'am, everyone. So after that, realized what we need to do and what we need to present. So during this 1 month, and we are guided in this room. So it is already platooning, and pod is also going, and track switching is happening. So and we can show all the data is going to the server, and server is linked to all the pod also is doing happening.
I want to say something. So these are people who are 23-year-old, 22, 23, and working with them. This kind of working, putting together, and pretty much they do it. We don't monitor it.
So yeah, this is my first time taking up a leadership in a huge project like this, and I didn't even trust myself to do this before. It was sir who it's because he believed, he knew that I could do even before I did. So yeah, when I was given this opportunity, I had a basic idea, and we had the freedom to explore and do what we think and what idea we have, and based on our inspiration and also motivation from Prof, we implemented it. And also with again taking up a leadership opportunity for the first time, we already have learned a lot of leadership skills from Sir. So we just tried to implement it and it worked. So yeah, it's been a really good experience.
So I will say, Kumar will say a few more things. Just want to sort of say that this is the kind of effort that we need in India. 1,000 times bigger than this. But it's not, I mean, these were 100 people. There is no reason why we can't have 100,000. So, come on.
So I just wanted to add a couple of things. So when I was working in 1990, I can say TNET Lab and Professor Jhunjhunwala were one of the first to build products in India. Many products were built in the lab. But the only thing is that those days the environment was very difficult to build products in India. So many people, after getting experience, they went abroad and probably many are entrepreneurs now because of what they learned. So now the environment is highly enabling in India. So that means that people, get on to something, they can stay longer with the problem and they can stay back in India because being a startup founder in India at an young age is a very rewarding experience and things like that. So I really think, coming this far has been more of the impossible than possible. And from here to building the products is actually, a lot more easier. Because
possible to possible. Thank you. I think we are pretty much done. Unless there is a quick question, we'd like to wind up. Okay? Thank you. But do come and see things. I request each of you to go show things to them. The sign language, how one can convert sign language to any language.